Today we're going to talk about PARDA, not to be mistaken with PRADA. PARDA is an acronym for my self-defense system that I teach in my seminars. So let's talk about a similar system that you're probably more familiar with, which is the Cooper Color Code. And that was made by Jeff Cooper, a ex-US Marine. And this was a situational awareness system that he created, and it goes by color of white, yellow, orange, red, and black. And each color represents a type of awareness that you should have. Now, my system of PARDA stands for preparation and prevention, awareness, recognizing the threat, de-escalating that threat, if at all possible, and then if that doesn't work, then you act. And that goes for PARDA. So let's get into it. All right, so the letter P stands for preparation and prevention. So what does that entail? That means you are prepared. That means you have all of your tools readily and available on your person or in your vehicle or in your home. You have also taken the due diligence to take classes, to educate yourself about situational awareness and self-defense in general. That means firearms classes, maybe taking up a self-defense like martial arts. You can have Krav Maga, boxing, and just understanding that those sports are sports. They don't necessarily translate over to self-defense unless you are in a CQB specific class, a CQC specific class, close quarter combat or close quarter battle, vice versa. Anything of that sort, that's going to be a little bit more realistic to what's happening in real life. Even then, you have to be able to stress test yourself. You're getting underneath pressure. You're making sure that the techniques that you're practicing are viable and that you can use them against a real person in real time under real pressure. And besides preparation, you also have prevention. So that means you are moving about the world anywhere outside of your safe space, meaning your home. Anytime you exit your home, you have to be moving about the world in a specific way, being aware of your surroundings and understanding that there are bad actors out there who potentially want to cause you harm. We're making sure that we are prepared for those situations in, again, knowledge and self-defense, and then also having those tools. Prevention in terms of not going to areas and places where those situations could be more likely, right? Moving on to the letter A. A stands for awareness, in better terms, situational awareness. Kind of volleying off of our letter P in preparation and prevention. That's a part of it, is being situationally aware everywhere you go out of your safe space, out of your home. A lot of times there's a misconception around vehicles where we treat our vehicle as if it's our home, and that's not the same thing. Even, I want to take it a step back and say, even in your home, you have to have those measures. You have to be prepared in your home if something were to happen, right? But especially when you step out of that safe space, you need to be head on a swivel. You need to make sure that wherever you are, that you are prepared for what could potentially happen. And just putting yourself in that situation, right? Again, situational awareness. Where am I in this space and time? Who is walking into the building? Am I visualizing what would I do if somebody were to walk into this building? Already putting yourself into that mind space, you're gonna be a lot better prepared than somebody who is just dilly-dallying about in that realm, right? So make sure that you are already in a headspace of, you know what? I'm visualizing, I'm seeing, I have eyes on whoever's coming into this space. I know where my exits are. I know my routes, et cetera, et cetera. That is a big part of being situationally aware. The letter R, it stands for recognizing the threat. So recognizing the threat entails what we just spoke about in situational awareness. I am looking at who is entering the space. Maybe I can even note exactly what they're wearing. Maybe I can note if they're carrying or not. Do they have a weapon in their hands? Are they wearing a big hoodie and their hands are in their hoodie? Should I keep my eye line on that person? Are they starting to come closer to my sphere of influence? Your sphere of influence is the space in which you can extend your arm and that person can touch you. Sphere of influence. Are they closing that distance? Distance is your friend in self-defense. Being able to manage your range, being able to manage distance is your number one self-defense before anything ever happens. So if you notice, hey, maybe this person is giving me the creeps. Maybe this person just ticks something off in my brain that makes me, you know what, I need to just watch this person. Don't judge yourself for having that inclination. Most of the time that inclination is going to be correct. You have to trust your instincts, making sure that you are believing in that, because almost always it's going to be correct. Those instincts are there for a reason. So again, recognizing that threat, you have to go back to preparation, prevention, situational awareness. Once you recognize that threat, now you have eyes, you have time on your side to respond and react. Letter D stands for de-escalate. De-escalate the situation if at all possible. If this is a direct threat to you, or maybe your family, or those in the space, and you had already gotten your awareness of that person, you've recognized that threat, now it is in your hands to de-escalate if at all possible. And again, going down that line, PAR, you have to have all of those entail to be able to do this. So de-escalating the situation could mean just verbal combatives, right? Being able to de-escalate, and I don't mean by combatives as in I'm getting into a verbal argument with this person. I am trying to take them down a notch. So if they're coming at me at 100, I'm trying to approach them at the lowest scale possible to bring them back down to this level, right? So that's a big part of self-defense as well, is just being able to use your words for defense as well. You gotta be able to de-escalate anywhere you can. The best fight to get into is a fight that never happened. And the very last letter is A. It stands for act. If you had already done everything that you could in this particular situation, there are hundreds of thousands of variables that could possibly happen in a given situation. So I'm not going to give you specific examples, right? But whatever situation that entails, you can go down preparation and prevention, awareness, recognizing the threat, de-escalate the situation. At that point, if you had done everything you possibly could, it is time to act. Now, it's not that in this span of time, because again, these situations happen in seconds, literally seconds. All of this that we had just spoken about, PARDA, could be happening in the matter of seconds, right? And that's why having understanding and training and time under the influence of situational awareness, training for these situations is super important. Stress testing is super important because when it is time to act, you have to act. So if you do get into a situation where, okay, I've done everything that I needed to do and now it's time to act, then you're full force. You cannot halfway do it. It's 110% in that direction, and then you do your best to get out as soon as you can, right? If it's a situation where it's a hand-to-hand combat, you're going to break down this person and escape as fast as you can, right? This goes for anything where your life is potentially in danger. You don't want to stay there. You don't want to hang out there. You do what you can to break down this person, stop them, and then you're out. And that, my friends, is PARDA. Preparation and prevention. Awareness. recognizing the threat, de-escalating, and then we act. That, once again, is PARDA. I highly recommend that you get familiar with this acronym and then that you go ahead and start to apply a lot of these actions into your day-to-day life. Whether that's starting off with P, preparation and prevention, getting to a place where you can start taking these classes, you can go get your LTC, you can get a little bit more versed in hand-to-hand combat, etc. So team, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. We're here at GRITR, Texas. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and team, I cannot wait to see you in the next video.